Sir Isaac Newton is often brought up as being the Christian scientist. The creationists always want to present him, and they brag that he wrote more about theology than he did about science, and this may well be true. But one of the things that Isaac Newton said was that Jesus was not the Son of God, and he knew this because God gave him direct revelation so that his interpretation of the scriptures would be superior to those Trinitarians who believed that Jesus was the Son of God. Now, given the position that you are taking, that your God is giving Newton divine revelation, which contradicts your own revelation, what would you do in that apparent paradox? And compare that to George Harrison's continued paradox, where he gets revelations from his God, and it's not even the same God as you. And then the guy out there in the trailer who is convinced that reptiles from planet Sirius are communicating through him and giving him divine revelation as well. All of them claiming the same certainty that you do, when all of them are simply refusing to consider that they could be wrong to any degree.
Right.
Okay, let's Cy respond, and then we're going to concordance. Cy first.
That's simply the fallacy of hasty generalization. That's just like going to a kindergarten math class and saying, look, at all these students have the wrong answer, therefore there's no right answer. It's a fallacy. Just because some people claim false revelation, you can't say that there's no real one. And you have admitted that you use your reasoning to justify your reasoning. So actually, why you're still in this conversation, I don't know.
If that is the case, then how do you determine whether your belief in the divinity of Jesus is correct compared to Sir Isaac Newton's divine revelation, so that he cannot be wrong, and God told him, as Newton wrote, that he's right and you're wrong, and God said so?
I disagree with your premise. I don't think he's had a divine revelation of that. It's impossible, because God cannot reveal that.
I don't know how to get you down.
One at a time.
Obviously, if Newton were here, and by his words we can assume that he is for the sake of argument, right, Newton argues that you are wrong, and he projects the same accusation you just made to him, he puts to you. How do we determine which of you is right?
Well, if somebody who wanted to posit that wants to come on here and debate me, I'd be happy to debate them. But I'm debating a bunch of atheists. I'm debating a bunch of atheists who...
Well, the point's being put to you, so you're going to answer.
Okay, I will refute.
Aaron, we've got the point. We've got the point, Aaron.
I will refute all of these other hypotheticals. I'll refute Thunderfoot's hypothetical. I'll refute Aaron's hypothetical.
Aaron.
Okay.
Well, I just refuted your hypothetical.
Stop! Enough. Both of you. All of you. Stop. No, Aaron, we've got your point. Aaron, we've got your point. Okay, Cy, will you explain how it is that you know that you've got the correct revelation and not Sir Isaac Newton? That's what you're being asked.
I've already answered that question, because he's revealed it such that I can be certain of it.
I don't, because you're certain of it. But how do you convince us?
He's revealed it such that I can be certain of it.
And how?
Just like the middle eyes.
No, how? Well, the thing is, I don't know how God. Hang on, let me finish.
Aaron, will you please stop?
I don't know how God made a cow, but it does not follow that because I don't know how God made a cow that he didn't make a cow. I don't know how God makes me certain, but it does not follow that because I don't know how God makes me certain, he didn't make me certain. God makes us certain of it such that we can know it. And the thing is,
so the unbeliever has an argument from ignorance.
It's not an argument from ignorance.
Point of clarification. Just for the point of clarification, then, do you accept that Sir Isaac Newton posed the same argument that you just did?
No, I don't. I don't know anything about Isaac Newton. Sorry.
God provides revelation. Yes, he was, but not all Christians are Trinitarian. It'd be good for you to know that. Now,
yes, they are.
Do you accept that? Do you? No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Do you accept
Christians?
Trinitarian Christians, and there are Unitarian Christians, and it's pathetic that you don't know that in the position that you're in.
No.
But
I'm saying that Unitarians are Christians.
I know.
Okay. I don't know what kind of medication Aaron forgot to take, but...
Aaron, we've got the point, and I do insist that we're going to move on. Concordance wants to come back, and then we're going to take Michael Payton, the next caller. Aaron, enough now. Concordance, then we'll take the next caller.
And I'm sure Michael's going to bring a little air of more elegant arguments than we're using here. But I want to lay out a scenario that I think is very important to understand how Cy perceives this. What I'm going to create just takes me a few seconds here. Two kingdoms, all right? And in one kingdom, a king has a system set up where every member of the kingdom has a chip implanted in their brain at birth, wired to a mind control device in the king's possession, all right? The chip allows the king to influence the thoughts of the people so they'll be happy, right? Every member of that kingdom is happy some of the time, but they have no way of knowing if that happiness is truly the result of their situation or merely the king pressing a button on the mind control device. All right, they would never truly be content because they can never know if this, and I will call it, revelation that's blipping up in their brain is true or not. Now, you're saying that it can be revealed in such a way that it cannot be disputed, but if you cannot communicate that to other people, then it's not an argument, it is an assertion, right?
Well,
in the other kingdom, wait, Sai, let me give you the contrary here. In the other kingdom, the people have no mind control, and this is the atheist land. When they're happy, they know why they're happy. Even if they don't, even if they were secretly being controlled, they can still have a greater confidence in their own emotional states because they don't have to question the source of the emotions. They don't give any credence to the idea that revelation is the source of knowledge or the source of the veracity of their claims. So the two groups each have emotional states that they register as their own consciousness. Only one group can never truly trust that the information that they're accessing is true information or not. So in fact, the Christian worldview is a logically incoherent worldview because it is dependent upon, in this case, revelation from another mind. So your logic comes from external sources that are of a mind. And you cannot logic about those minds because they won't let you. You have no basis for a logically coherent argument about what God can or cannot do, even if one of those arguments is that he can logically make you see an argument in a way that cannot be debated, because you could still be deceived.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
How do you know that your mind isn't being controlled?
I don't.
Okay, thank you very much, and then you're done.
That answers that.